What's up, everybody? Welcome to Contemporary. Hi. How are you all doing? Good morning. Good morning, 7:57 a.m. Eastern Time, of course. We don't play that Central Time Zone stuff over here on Contemporary. I'm Stephen Ignoramus, sitting in for J. Edgar. Hope all is well. We've got a good show going on right now. The main theme of the program today is the drawdown out of Afghanistan. I guess we're leaving, guys. Leaving the country. I guess we being the military. But we're leaving some troops in there to oversee the diplomats or whatever, as if they matter. We're watching a little bit of the speech by Joe Biden from he's talking about. I've actually never heard the phrase drawdown before. But I know the phrase blowback from Ron Paul. We have a little short clown-pilled opener with some funny articles and things like that. Where Michael Avenatti has been sentenced to I think 2.5 years in prison for his extortion of Nike. We are going to touch on a little bit of critical race theory in the schools in America. And yesterday we talked about the San Francisco gay men's chorus doing a song called "We're Gonna Convert Your Children." It's come out that several of them are convicted child sexual abusers. We have a couple things on that. I'm Stephen Ignoramus in for J. Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Okie dokes, folks. Let's get on to the show. Hello to everyone out there in the live chat, and hello to everyone watching the replay after the fact. J. Edgar will be back on Monday, and I'm hoping that he's enjoying his time off. All right, guys. On my show, The Daily Ignoramus, we do something called the Ignant Opener or the Clown-Pilled Opener. I'm trying to transition to the Ignant Opener because I don't know, everything's Ignant. Not everything is always Clown-Pilled, but we got a short little one today. Got about 6 articles that tickled my fancy. Let's get into it. A vehicle illegally enters into the United States. No, this isn't Mexico. No, this is not Arizona. This is through Vermont. A vehicle illegally enters into the United States through private property in northern Vermont. So this is the solution that libertarians want. Derby Line, Vermont. U.S. border agents from the Newport station apprehended 7 people who these maple syrup drinkers. What are they doing? I didn't realize that it was like a clown car. Do 7 people fit in this type of car? Anyway, apprehended 7 people who illegally entered into the country, and the entry was captured on surveillance technology. On July 4th, agents were alerted by Swanton Sector's communication center of a vehicle that had illegally entered into the U.S. in Derby Line. The vehicle drove over the lawn of the Haskell Free Library at a high rate of speed and nearly collided with the vehicle in the United States. Agents responded to the area, located the vehicle traveling southbound on the Interstate 91, and conducted a vehicle stop. 7 occupants got out of the car like, yeah, it's a clown car. Anyway, were discovered by agents. They determined that all the occupants did not have a legal status to be in or remain in the United States. Through investigation efforts, it was revealed that the occupants were citizens of Canada, France, and Romania. And they were subsequently expelled back to Canada. Get out of here. Go lose at hockey to people from Florida. Well, they're all from Russia, right? Let's see if we do. No video? Well, I guess that's the screenshot or whatever. Yeah, those border jumpers build the northern wall. Okay. Cutting off. I don't feel like reading this, but I still will. Cutting a hole in your pants to make it easier to have sex with an inmate and having intercourse in full view of 11 other inmates is something only a depraved mind could come up with, says Fresno County Assistant Sheriff Steve McComas. Yes, depraved prison guard sentenced for having the sex with an inmate while other prisoners watched. Okay. A California corrections officer convicted of having a sex with an inmate in full view of other prisoners will spend 210 days in jail and then serve 2 years of probation. That ain't enough, dude. I think you should crack down on these type of thoughts hard, dude. It should be like whippings and a year, dude. She might be into that shit, though. Anyways, Tina Gonzalez, 27, you like my accent, admitted to the crimes with her attorney, Martin Telesnik. Claimed her marriage was falling apart. Now it's fallen all the way when she committed the acts. Yeah, no women police officers, no women in charge of anything violent. Nothing. No e-girls, never, not once. It was never her intention to bring any harm or danger to the employees in the jail or anyone else in that jail, said the attorney. In addition to the sex, she reportedly gave the inmate razor blades and a cell phone. She also tipped him off of cell searches. This is corruption, bro. This is straight up corruption. 210 days in jail is not enough, man. I hate corruption. All right, that's gross. Let's keep going. Plant-based, somehow more gross, plant-based meat. Plant-based meat not nutritionally the same as real meat. Study, guys. Did you know that food is not the same as other food? Did you know this? They had to conduct a study. Did you know this one thing that has a certain word and a different chemical makeup is not the same as another food? Okay, cool. Hello, everybody over there in the live chat. See some good peeps. Jaggers here. Might be wrong. Sully Blue. Hello. Random Randy, I guess you're allowed. And Quest Fanning, hello. Hello. Hi. Plant-based meat alternatives may look and cook. Have you ever cooked one of these burgers, dude? It like bubbles up with plant fat, dude. It's disgusting. Plant-based meat alternatives may look and cook like real meat, but scientists say that the nutritional components may not be the same. Researchers at Duke University compared 36 food samples, 18 of widely known plant-based meat alternatives, to 18 grass-fed ground beef options from a ranch in Idaho. For each sample, they measured the number of metabolites, small molecules that make up the nutrients in food. I'm so sick of studies, dude. Like, it's just studies over things that are just obvious, dude. Two different things don't have the same things. Like, oh, let's use taxpayer funded. I mean, it's from Duke, which is taxpayer funded. I mean, not directly or whatever, but don't be vegan, bro. It's a bad look on you, King. Looting is so bad in liberal utopia San Francisco that stores are now locking up little boys. Oh, excuse me. I mean toothpaste. Sorry about that. Sorry. So they decriminalized petty theft or theft up to $1,000 in San Francisco. There's a couple awesome videos. One is this guy's filling up a garbage bag completely full with stuff from Walgreens and just walking out or just biking out right in front of the security guard. And they're just like, oh, we're filming. Okay, they don't prosecute this stuff anymore. What a dumpster fire. And then there was a video where a bunch of urban teens, to remain politically correct, were looting a Neiman Marcus. And, one guy had like 5 handbags. Dude, homie, that might be $1,001. All right. Looting is so bad in liberal utopia that San Francisco that they're locking up toothpaste. The government should pay for this shit, man. So it's press for service at the toothpaste. What is wrong with people, man? Is it the ice cream too? No, it's the formula. Yeah, bro. This is not the Caracas. This is San Francisco. Oh, no, this is not Caracas. This is not the voice you should be using. This is not Caracas. It's San Francisco, where stealing is so easy that thieves don't face consequences. That at my local supermarket, even the toothpaste is locked. If you're coming to San Francisco. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy, this stuff, man. That's why you need law. Like, that's why I urge you not to be an ANCAP. You need laws, you need authority. I mean, especially in this situation. Maybe you like erase history and just start from scratch, but no one does that but God, so why are we trying? I'm such on like a anti-ANCAP streak right now. Feeling good about it too. This lady named her kids Metallica, Slayer, and Pantera. Okay, she's got a crossbow, so I'll give that give her something on that one. So this is from Webworm. It's not easy raising 3 of the heaviest bands. This post is for paying subscribers. Signs J. Edgar up for an account. Steals all of J. Edgar's information. Signs him up for an account. Nice. Can read all about it. Proud to report that a New Zealand mother has named her children Metallica, Pantera, and Slayer. She told me it's not easy raising 3 of the heaviest bands. I became a bit more suspicious when she also included Metallica's best album and Justice for All in her kid's name too. The New Zealanders Registrar General seems to confirm that it's a real thing. You got a screenshot? Nice. Let's go to it, bro. I can't wait to name my kid Pig Destroyer, she says. There's no restrictions on naming babies after bands or albums as long as the word used is not generally considered to be offensive and does not resemble an official rank or title. So not generally offensive. That means you can't name your kid Nickelback. This particular baby was registered in 2009 by the previous registrar. I always like that word. It's like someone roaring at you, registrar. Anyway, guys, I swear I haven't drank too much coffee. Okay, Metallica, Pantera, and Slayer. Hope they have a good life. The 666th bill has been proposed in the House. Hello, Satan. 666th bill has been proposed in the House this session, and it's about anti-racism in public health. And I'll let you make that what you will, says Not the Bee. Oh, yes. Anti-Racism in Public Health Act of 2021, HR 666. Energy and Commerce. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Nothing to see here. But I don't really get why the 666 and anti-racism in public health are like funny together. I don't really get it. The Antichrist in America Act. Anyway, last one of the Ignant opener over here on Contemporary with J. Edgar. You guys are welcome to catch me for a longer one at 10 a.m. on the Daily Ignoramus. We must stop calling food exotic, since the word is rooted in white dominance, colonialism, and reinforces xenophobia and racism, food writer says. They straight up want to bring about the giver, dude. Just sameness and everything, because nothing, like, exotic's good, man. But normal's better these days. If you say something is weird these days, it's not good. I mean, I guess everything's flipped. It's like in what inversion is. Like, everything's going to be, there's always going to be a norm. There's always going to be some sort of mainstream. So when the norm and the mainstream becomes like depraved and disgusting, being traditional and normal is then weird. It's kind of weird. You guys get that? Y'all need to stop using the word exotic to describe food. That's what G. Gonzala Galarza, a staff writer for the Washington Post's exotic food section, wrote in her perspective piece Wednesday. It's historically rooted to white dominance and colonialism. Nice. And we need to put its use out to pasture once and for all. The first problem with the word is that probably within the past 2 decades, it's lost its essential meaning. Much like your job description. The second, more crucial problem is that its use, particularly as applied to food, indirectly lengthens the metaphysical distance between one group of humans and another, and in so doing, reinforces xenophobia and racism. These people, when they talk, they say so much but say so little. Like ethnic and alien, the word exotic was invented to describe something foreign. It comes from the Greek prefix exo and outside. Oh, the scholar. Oh, I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it all. Thus concludes the short pilled opener, right? Okay, guys, let's get over to Michael Avenatti, huh? Did I misplace this stuff? No. There we go. Cool. Michael Avenatti. He cried. He wept. Shortest Bible verse. Michael Avenatti wept. Disgraced lawyer Michael Avenatti cried as he was sentenced to 30 months today for trying to extort Nike out of $20 million. Holy Nikes. Here's a reminder of how much the media loved him. Welcome, everybody in the chat. I see we got some regulars of my stream. Make sure you subscribe to Jay Edgar. Michael Avenatti was supposed to be supposed. Why is that a weird word to me right now? He's supposed to be the, but I just say spost. S-P-O-S-T. Michael Avenatti was supposed to be the tip of the spear in taking down Donald Trump alongside porn actress and very failed one, Stormy Daniels. The media swooned over the lawyer for months, giving him multiple appearances across the spectrum of autism, of cable shows and talk shows. He cried like a little baby on Thursday when being sentenced to 2.5 years. He'll be back. He'll be out in 1, I bet. He's got that good time. Yeah, he'd do some favors to the guards. You know, he'll have one that cut a hole in her crotch. You know, she'll get in trouble. Oh, yeah. They wanted him to run for president. That's a good point over there. I forgot about that. Holy crap. What a dumpster fire. He's crying in the courtroom. I wish they had video, man. Why don't they just have video of all the courts? And it's like they still do a pencil sketch of the Supreme Court. We're in the modern age. What's going on? Attempted Nike shakedown, it says. The sentencing marks the conclusion of one of 3 criminal trials, maybe he won't be out in 1, that the 50-year-old California lawyer is set to undergo. I don't really watch the Matt and Blonde show. Actually, you know, I used to all the time, but I didn't even know they renamed it the Matt and Blonde show. That's how it's been since I watched Beauty and the Beta. But one of the gags that they were doing about Michael Avenatti a couple of years ago is that he had criminal skull measurements. they hath measured his skull and found it wanting. Yeah, so I just want to see him cry, dude. The judge says Mr. Avenatti had become drunk on the power of his platform. I can relate. Or what he perceived the power of his platform to be. Can also relate. He had become someone who operated as if the laws and rules that apply to everyone else do not apply to him. Come on, no weeping. Dang it, man. I want the video. I want the documents. All right, in other meltdowns, I guess I went a little bit out of order here. Let's get to, let's just watch it. Why not just watch it? I'm sure you guys are familiar with Keith Olbermann. I don't know, man. My values have changed a little bit. I don't think the press should be allowed to just say people, like, I think there should be, like, character assassination laws. And I know that people, every time I bring this up, people are like, well, that's why they have slander and libel laws. But they're not strong enough, dude. You shouldn't be able to, like, say Trump is a Nazi. Like, it depends on what your definition of is. You shouldn't just be able to say someone's a Nazi, a white supremacist, or a white nationalist without having a definition for it and like, be able to prove it. Trump is not like a Nazi. Trump is a Nazi. This guy is so sorry. But we're going to watch the whole 2-minute clip.
Trump said to his chief of staff, John Kelly, quote, well, Hitler did a lot of good things, unquote. Kelly, quote, told the president that he was wrong, but Trump was undeterred, emphasizing German economic recovery under Hitler during the 1930s, unquote.
Where's the lie? Whereas Keith Olbermann has done 0 good things.
Excerpt from Michael Bender's new book dating to Trump's trip to Europe to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the ending of World War I. Let's skip for the moment Kelly's amazing disloyalty to this country and to the soldier's son he lost.
Keith Olbermann does not just resemble a douchebag. Keith Olbermann is a douchebag.
Lost in Afghanistan.
He's a douchebag getting stolen from a San Francisco Walmart.
Where he was fighting fascism. How any American could have heard any president praise Hitler and not immediately call a news conference and announce it to the world media in real time, we will skip that. Because the real headline here is the description of Kelly's actual reaction to Trump saying, quote, well, Hitler did a lot of good things, unquote, which is that Kelly was stunned. Stunned? Why stunned? Vanity Fair magazine, September 19th.
I don't think there's anyone that takes themselves as seriously as this. A lot of people take themselves very seriously, but it's all about the ratio. like how serious you take yourself to how big of a clown you actually are. I feel like I might have one of the best ratios basically in world history. Yeah, the ratio of how seriously I take myself to how big of a clown I am. I'm like at a 1-to-1 ratio, dude. It's pretty good.
1990, Marie Brenner
I had to work hard at it, actually.
interviews Trump. Quote, Ivana Trump told her lawyer that from time to time her husband reads a book of Hitler's collected speeches, which he keeps in a cabinet by his bed. Did your cousin John give you the Hitler speeches?
And his voice, dude. Like,
I asked Trump. Trump hesitated. Quote, who told you that? I don't remember, I said. Quote, actually it was my friend Marty Davis from Paramount who gave me a copy. Quote, I did give him a book about Hitler, Marty Davis said. Later, Trump returned to the subject, quote, if I had these speeches, and I'm not saying that I do, I would never read them, unquote. 1990. Vanity Fair.
people don't like learning either.
Reprinted that.
Like, I like learning about this stuff. Like that's why, the military guy from last week, maybe a couple weeks ago, where it was like the white rage speech. That guy was a D-bag too. Tucker Carlson called him a pig, which is awesome. But I do agree with the sentiment of learning things about your enemies. So it's like these people are anti-intellect, they're anti-learning, they're miserable. I mean, look at this face right here. Do you think this guy is happy with his life? And Donald Trump's just like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good, actually. I could be president again one day, but if not, it's fine. I got Melania, got a legacy, got some money, and I have people like Keith Olbermann talking about me.
Review in 2015. I quoted it in my first commentary for GQ a year later. There's no reason to be, quote, stunned that Trump said, quote, Hitler did a lot of good things, unquote. It's what he believed.
Why do you need to say unquote every time?
He believes still. It's what his followers believe. Marjorie Trader Green compared masks to the Star of David, then went to
very, very apt comparison.
the Holocaust Museum.
Shouldn't have apologized for it.
Then apologized, and then on Tuesday again compared those who are pro-vaccine to brown shirts. Trump and the others are not like admirers of Hitler. They are not like Nazis. They are admirers of Hitler. They are Nazis. Let us think of them and treat them as Nazis.
Yeah, dude, that's some fighting words right there. Dude, once you say, let us treat them like Nazis, man, the Nazis were hung, bro. Yeah, dude, I don't agree with the speech situation, yo. They're ruining people's lives and acting on it. Steve Schmidt of the credibly accused of pedophilia Lincoln Project. So he wasn't the one accused, but that one guy did. Didn't that guy get charged? I don't know. Not this guy, but Steve Schmidt and Rick Wilson. Is that the other guy? Who's the other one? It's the one lady's husband. Anyway. The Capitol riot was worse than the 9/11 attacks, likely to kill a lot more Americans.
My friend,
oh my cringe, dude.
And Matthew Dowd, our friend, talked to
like the thing about the media is I get what Katie said in the chat. You should be able to say anything you want as long as it's not a call to action. I kind of agree, agree in sentiment sometimes, but I also say that I think like the media and the pundit class should be treated differently. Like these people, maybe rules should be different for a public figure, and the rules are different for when you're talking about a public figure. You can essentially say whatever you want, but I think the rules should be different if you are a public figure talking. That's kind of what I'm saying. Some sort of caste system. Let's watch the video.
He couldn't be more right. The 1/6 attack for the future of the country is a profoundly more dangerous event than the 9/11 attacks. And in the end, the 1/6 attacks are likely to kill a lot more Americans than were killed on the 9/11 attacks, which will include the casualties of the wars that lasted 20 years following it.
I don't know, man. You shouldn't just be allowed to just say that stuff. I don't know what the solution is, but you should not just be able to say that shit. Okay, let's get the bad stuff out of the way. All right, so, okay. Yesterday, we watched this San Francisco choir saying they're coming to convert your kids, okay? The lyrics were disgusting, man, and we're not going to watch it again. But now it seems Dude, I can't even believe what I'm about to read, on, especially on some other guy's show. I guess I can really let it rip. Just kidding, J. Edgar. So the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus made a video singing about how they'll corrupt your kids and teach them about being gay to convert them. Turns out many of them are registered sex offenders. They took down the video. Okay, so 4chan did the Lord's work over here. Wow. Ooh-wee. So they took pictures of all of them. So let's see if I can, okay, I know I can do. I can reload this in Discord, and here we go. My files are too powerful. Is that a fact? No, it doesn't. Man. All right, so I wanted to get the names and stuff. So 4chan did what 4chan does, where they screenshot the guy's face. They look up his records. So it's 4 of them are a child under 14. I just want to get in on the what the charges actually are. This one in the lower left corner is actually the host, like the first lead singer, and he's like in like undies with a tube sock on his D, reindeer. He's like a reindeer in like a storage unit or some shit. It looks like he's in a jail, but they don't. That's not the official jail garb or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, dude. Most people are groomed. That's how like people become gay. That's how a lot of it happens. And they're like, it's a second tenor, first tenor. Holy shit. Well, this doesn't mean anything. It could be anyone, says Time Commando. All right, so he zooms in a little bit. Chris Smith, David Diaz, Tim Jackson, Ronnie Jean Roberts. So he's looking up the postable sexual offenders. Yikes. One guy even made a musical about Bakabazi. I don't know what that is, but they say it's the Afghan art of effing boys. The new oh, you can't make this shit up, dude. A new musical explores the clandestine world of Bakabazi in Afghanistan. Zachary Stewart, sex slavery in Afghanistan isn't an obvious subject for a musical, but haven't we had enough of the obvious in musical theater? Tim Rosser and Charlie Sohn make a good case for the path of most resistance in their challenging, courageous, and beautiful new musical, The Boy Who Danced on Air. Taking its place in modern Afghanistan, tells a story of a young man whose family has sold him to Jandar, a wealthy older man employed at an American power plant. Perriman's duties include dancing for Janhar's male guests and going to bed with his master at night. So, this is not, by the way, this is not one of the sex offenders. This is just a guy in the choir. Okay. 4chan is now going through. So they made spreadsheets. 4chan is now going through each person in the choir to make sure they're a ped. Check. Pedo. Yikes. Dang, dude. Look at this spreadsheet, man. Ooh-wee. That guy, this guy just wasn't caught. Correct. Life to the max. Their Facebook page is now getting angry comments. One guy drove by and left a message about how mad he was to see gay guys having sex in the YMCA showers in Honolulu in the 80s. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I remember being there. He left a bathroom sex review site too. I love these type of people, man. The 4chan types. Oh my gosh. CruisingGays.com. 9 gay Phoenix toilets, washrooms, gay guide 2021. Oh, yeah. Someone in the Twitter reply says, man, 4chan does better investigations than the FBI. Oh, man. So just touching in on this stuff, this stuff is kind of covering the stuff is my bread and butter over at the Daily Ignoramus. So if you're, we're actually basically doing the same segment on the Daily Ignoramus later today. Check out the Boston men's chorus in 2014, some people did a little bit of digging. 2014, this is 7 years ago. It's Your Children Are Not Your Children, the Boston gay men's chorus. Oh my gosh, at least the other song was like upbeat and happy. Your children. Like, whoa, dude. This is the Eyes Wide Shut outtakes. That they brought in the inspirational piano. Gotta lull them to sleep. All right, if you want to see the whole thing, we'll be watching it over on the Daily Ignoramus in about an hour and a half. Okie dokie. Check out this New York Times article praising the pornography literacy classes taught to elementary kids by a sex-positive educator. People just have their heads in the sand, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm just in full mock mode. I mean, this dude... let me do a quick audible or whatever. I don't know if this is a person, they unfollowed me. Good. You were following me yesterday. Good. I said so this is a Twitter thread of mine. The talk of CRT taught in schools as a smokescreen to distract from sodomy and other sexual degeneracy taught in schools. This person just comes into my replies and says, the Bible is a collection of accounts oftentimes contradictory. I would much rather Christendom be an excuse to love rather than hate. Yo, pedo watch, dude. If some people prefer the same gender, then sure. I'd much rather be able to understand it than hate it because I don't. Okay, I say the Bible is God's word, and there may seem to be contradictions at first, but there are not. Said contradictions are usually due to the reader not having the proper understanding or insight into God. Either way, pee-pee and the poo-poo, etc. should not be taught to a single child. Person says, it's the interpretation by a number of individuals, the words of the prophet Jesus, more like an antiquity self-help book. People fear what they don't understand. It's their right on whether to accept it, but they should definitely be educated on what it is. And I said something, I don't think this person picked up that I was ripping on them. I said, it sounds like you're well acquainted with what it is. It says, I've made an effort to educate myself and remove prejudices. Yes, in my ass. Pretty proud of that fact. It's the Christian thing to do after all. Love thy neighbor, even if the Bible says they're a sinner. Preaching is teaching, and it's better we teach love than teach hate. I mean, I don't know what this person is. I mean, the moon is a liberal myth. I mean, this is a total troll or something like that. They have Hitler in there. I might have gotten trolled. But there's a lot of people out there like this. This type of person exists, where it's like, do you see that they're teaching pornography literacy classes to elementary school kids? It's like, it's better to know no, it's not, by the way. It's like violence exists in the world. Do you want kids to just know what it is no matter the age? Like, this is the problem with liberalism. It's that liberalism and it's open-mindedness to what, when, and why. Open to what, when, why, and how. No, you alleged suspected pedo. I'm contradicting my own speech laws. Pornography literacy classes are supposed to teach students how to critically assess what they see on the screen. But when a sex-positive educator taught her curriculum at 2 elite New York City schools recently, some parents were outraged. Yeah, dude, it's totally satanic. It's completely satanic. Dude, Dave Rubin's part of the problem. You know, dude, I think if you're a gay liberal, you're part of the problem at this point. Yeah, dude, it's just amazing. Yeah. Help kids learn that bodies are private with Scoop and Friends. Sex cartoon for kids. And let's move to Georgia. And I don't mean the state, by the way. Well, I guess I mean the nation state. The nation state of Georgia. Maybe we'll see that in America one day. Over in the country of Georgia, the Tbilisi Pride is canceled amid violent protests. Rainbow flags were torn up and burned during the violent far-right protests in Tbilisi. So that's an LGBT lobby in Georgia. Some Slavs don't play that shit, son. Well, some do. An LGBT flag was burned in the streets. There was also clashes between protesters and the police. Ah, yes. Some men just want to see the world burn. And I'm not one of them, dude. I'm not one of them. Just certain things. Okay, folks. Thus wraps up our degeneracy class. Very nice. And let's go on over to more of the Trump stuff. In the wake of Donald, I guess we should have lumped this in with the Keith Olbermann stuff. In the wake of Donald Trump's 2020 election defeat, many QAnon followers have hatched a plan: run for school board or office. You mean what every good person should do? If you think you're good and you have something to say, the first thing you should do is, politically, is run for school board or local office. QAnon's new plan, dude. These people are broken, bro. Trump broke them. So this is from NBC News. And always starts with a story. It's just one guy. Usually they talk about 2 or 3 different people, call it a plan. I don't know, dude. I've said it before on my show that like I'm just, you don't want me to be in charge. I mean, I would crack down on the media so hard, dude. Because they can't just keep getting away with it. There's like, the mainstream media is basically Sam Hyde with school shootings. Many QAnon's new plan. I would crack down so hard if I was in charge, dude. And people saying, the people they're talking about say, I don't subscribe to Q theories. The person Drake Wirtz is the person that they're talking about. And he has said, and I quote, I can tell you 100% I don't subscribe to Q theories. Q theories hurt the mission of fighting sex trafficking and bring negative attention. Unquote. And they don't have any. These people are criminals, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just emotional or whatever. I don't think so. I think I'm a based, logical mind. And MSNBC's Joy Reid says GOP awash in white nationalism, Trump cult, and QAnon while waging an all-out war for power. And the Dems, nothing much to report. Hideous. Day of the pillow approaches, says Random Randy. Well, let's hope so, right? Katie says, I moved to the wrong Georgia. And I'm supposed to be doing the chat stuff today, right? Oh, is that supposed to be at the end? Oh, I thought Friday meant I'm supposed to interact with the chat. Oh, well, I take it all back. Sorry, I won't look at you again. So it's just like assholes reporting on hideous assholes, right? Dave Urbanski's making Joy read the news, and Joy read in the news. Well, it sounds like she's reading the news. I don't think she can read. Anyway, waging an all-out war for power instead of running a typical political campaign. And as for the Democrats, well, not surprisingly, the far-left Reid said the Democrats simply are preparing to run as they would normally run as midterm elections approach next year. In other words, nothing to see here. Move along. Your kids are not your kids. Okay, let's get into the big news of the day. The drawdown. We're going to spend a couple minutes on this. I'm looking forward to it. Biden announces the U.S. war in Afghanistan. I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm supposed to read the live chat at the end. Yet my thing I like and I think I hate at the end yesterday was the live chat. So am I really doing 2 Fridays? Did I clone Friday? Anyway, the drawdown. I had not heard this term until yesterday. I don't know if this is an official military term or whatever. I thought it was withdrawal or whatever, or pullout. That's the one. But I do know blowback, as I said earlier. Thanks to Ron Paul for coining that phrase. Biden announces the U.S. war in Afghanistan will end ahead of schedule by August 31st. I mean, I've been a non-interventionist for years. Still am. I don't think we should be involved in foreign wars that have nothing to do with us whatsoever. Even the ones that we shouldn't be pulling ourselves into other nations' wars. That's my point. And I think, that's why basically both, world wars happened, is because like these treaties, these non-binding these binding agreements, I'm not a fan of the USA being in basically any war going back to World War I, essentially. Actually, even the Civil War. I don't think the United States government should have been involved in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, the Gulf War, any of them. It's been dumb, and every one of them has been done for a reason that the mainstream doesn't accept. It's like I would debate any mainstream normie on the facts behind these wars. But I think also non-interventionism has become pretty mainstream, which is great. Biden announces the U.S. war in Afghanistan will end ahead of schedule by August 31st. Like Blaze News, get the news that matters most delivered directly to your inbox. Get out of my inbox, bro. The U.S. war in Afghanistan will officially be over by the end of August, President Joe Biden announced in remarks delivered Thursday. The president gave an update on the status of the U.S. troop withdrawal, which is proceeding ahead of schedule. Our military mission in Afghanistan will conclude on August 31st. Let's just go over to the remarks. It gives, you guys know the background of the war in Afghanistan. Here's the background of the wars in Afghanistan. Empires go in and then they go out without conquering the place. It's like 5 different empires at this point, isn't it? Like the British Empire, the American Empire, the Roman or the Greeks. I know that like Alexander the Great did not do well. The Russians, so at least 4. Not good numbers. Biden delivers remarks in the drawdown efforts in Afghanistan. So in these remarks, what they basically do is they have, let's see. Next up, we will begin shortly. So make sure you change the text on the screen so they do 50 minutes of complete silence with just a graphic there before. Now, how long does Biden speak? So he talks for about 20 minutes. So we'll watch the beginning of it, and I have a couple of the highlights or whatever. And if you would like to watch the whole thing, please join us for the Daily Ignoramus in about an hour and 20 minutes.
I said we would be out by September.
Did you?
By our senior military.
I thought it was May 1st. All right. Come on, man. You're messing with my flow, bro. Come on, Joe. Happiness is a thing called Joe.
I said we would be out by
whatever.
September, and we're on track to meet that target. Excuse me. Our military mission in Afghanistan will conclude on August 31st. The drawdown is proceeding in a secure and orderly way, prioritizing the safety of our troops as they depart. Our military commanders advised me that once I made the decision to end the war, we needed to move swiftly to conduct the main elements of the drawdown. And in this context, speed is safety. And thanks to the way in which we have managed our withdrawal, no one U.S. forces or any forces have been lost. Conducting our drawdown differently would have certainly come with an increased risk of safety to our personnel. To me, those risks were unacceptable. And there was never any doubt that our military would perform this task efficiently and with the highest level of professionalism.
Dude, I love the house, the government sign language worker or whatever.
They do.
And they just get. You remember the thing where I don't know if you guys saw this a couple weeks ago, where he talked about like a girl that's 9, Joe Biden. He talked about like a girl that's 9 looking 19 with like something in her, like some sort of barrettes in her hair or something like that. And she just like, the sign language person just like stopped signing and had like a gross look on her face for a second. Just like, I was like, you know, it's Def Comedy Jam, you know?
And the same is true of our NATO allies and partners who have supported, we are supporting and supporting us as well as they conclude.
And everyone always brings up in the live chat at some point is like, why don't they just do closed captioning? Like, it's like deaf people can't read.
They're retrograde. I want to be clear. The U.S. military mission in Afghanistan continues through the end of August. We retain personnel and capacities in the country, and we maintain some authority, the same authority under which we've been operating for some time. As I said in April, the United States did what we went to do in Afghanistan, to get the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11 and deliver justice to Osama bin Laden, and to degrade the terrorist threat to keep Afghanistan from becoming a base from which attacks could be continued against the United States. We achieved those objectives. That's why we went. We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build. And it's the right and the responsibility of the Afghan people alone to decide their future and how they want to run their country. Together, with our NATO allies and partners, we have trained and equipped over nearly 300,000 current serving members of the military, the Afghan National Security Force, and many beyond that who are no longer serving. Add to that hundreds of thousands more Afghan National Defense and Security Forces trained over the last 2 decades. We provided our Afghan partners with all the tools, let me emphasize, all the tools, training, equipment of any modern military. We provided advanced weaponry, and we're going to continue to provide funding and equipment, and we'll ensure they have the capacity to maintain their Air Force. But most critically, as I stressed in my meeting just 2 weeks ago with President Ghani and Chairman Abdullah, Afghan leaders have to come together and drive toward a future that the Afghan people want and they deserve. In our meeting, I also assured Ghani that U.S. support for the people of Afghanistan will endure. We will continue to provide civilian and humanitarian assistance, including speaking out for the rights of women and girls. I intend to maintain our diplomatic presence in Afghanistan, and we are coordinating closely with our international partners in order to continue to secure the international airport. And we're going to engage in a determined diplomacy to pursue peace and a peace agreement that will end this senseless violence.
Yeah, is it weird that I'm just like, I don't know, like, that's what I was kind of starting to say earlier, but I just interrupted myself. Is anyone else just like disappointed? We should be happy. I mean, it's cool we're getting out, but it feels like we're just gonna go into Syria or Iran really soon or something like that. And Trump messed up so bad, dude. Trump should have done so much of this stuff 1 or 2 years in and dealt with it. I mean, I know in hindsight he definitely should have, but even without hindsight, like for as big of a Chad Trump was, he wasn't big enough. Like he He tried to placate all these people that hated him, and he was just, it was funny, like a guy like Trump, it doesn't seem like he would do a lot of half measures, but he did. So many half measures. This should have been Trump. And I'm not disappointed. I'm not like a huge Trump fan or whatever, but I like him more than Biden. So I'm not disappointed because it should have been Trump. And it's Biden. Biden's getting the credit. Dude, no one's getting the credit. Like, no one's getting the credit. This deaf reporter in the corner deserves the credit here. But it's, disappointing. It's sad. It's tremendously sad, frankly. So I guess we're getting out. There's going to be some shenanigans afoot in the next 6 months. Something's going to happen. And so if you pull them out and they go straight into Syria, did you really do anything? Now, I don't know if, I think Biden's already bombed Syria a couple times, right? He's bombing brown kids. Let's watch the highlights. I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan with no reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome. So he gives a qualifier. So if there is a reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome, he will. That's what he's saying.
The status quo was not an option. Staying would have meant U.S. troops taking casualties. American men and women back in the middle of a civil war. And we would run the risk of having to send more troops back into Afghanistan to defend our remaining troops. Once that agreement with the Taliban had been made, staying with a bare minimum force was no longer possible. So let me ask those who want us to stay, how many thousands more Americans' daughters and sons are you willing to risk?
All of them.
How long would you have them stay? Already we have members of our military whose parents fought in Afghanistan 20 years ago. Would you send their children and their grandchildren as well? Would you send your own son or daughter? After 20 years, $1 trillion spent training and equipping hundreds
wrap it up. It's so boring. Oh my gosh.
of thousands of Afghan national security defense forces. 2,448 Americans killed, 20,722 more wounded, and untold thousands coming home with unseen trauma to their mental health. I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan with no reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome. The United States cannot afford to remain tethered to policies creating a response to a world as it was 20 years ago. We need to meet the threats where they are today. Today, the terrorist threat has metastasized beyond Afghanistan. So, we are repositioning our resources and adapting our counterterrorism posture to meet the threats where they are now.
Do you trust the Taliban, sir?
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Why? Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
But it is likely. It is possible, it is likely, and it is probable.
You trust the Taliban, Mr. President? You trust the Taliban, sir?
Is that a serious question?
It's absolutely a serious question. You trust the Taliban?
No, I do not.
Over the country to the Taliban.
No, I do not trust the Taliban.
So why are you handing the country over?
Quest says, trust the Taliban.
Responsible for the Mr. President.
That's a good one.
Mr. President, will you amplify that question, please? Will you amplify your answer, please, why you don't trust the Taliban?
It's a silly question. Do I trust the Taliban? No. But I trust the capacity of the Afghan military, who is better trained, better equipped, and more competent in terms of conducting war. Yes.
Dude, there's no such thing as Afghanistan, dude. Like, no, very, very few people over in Afghanistan, identify as Afghani or whatever. That shit's made up. I mean, it was, you can argue that almost anything's made up, but it was made up by people that weren't them. That's the difference between like a mandate, like a vassal state, and an actual nation or actual people group. Like the people in the group have to form it. right? That's not how the Middle East was carved up at the end of World War I. Not even a little bit, Buster. Now, I'm just making sure. Do we have the Q&A? Hold on.
By the last administration, we were going to...
About the withdrawal.
Okay, good. All right. So, yeah, we're going to watch the whole thing on the Daily Ignoramus in a little while. A little while, crocodile. All right, guys. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick segment on critical race theory, and then we're going to see what you guys, the fans, are saying. Mwahahaha. Okay, so we're over doing some critical race theory stuff. You know, I put out this tweet a second ago. You know, I read it on air where, you know, CRT is basically to distract from the really bad stuff, which is, you know, sodomy, masturbation, sex, and pornography being taught to kids. I fully think that there should not be any sex education in school at all, dude. At all. And people are like, but they need to learn about sex. And their parents aren't teaching them that. Well, let the chips fall where they may, dude. Just let but then they'll learn them from their friends and their older brothers. You know, same as it ever was, first of all. Same as it's been for the last 50 years, but also their friends and their older brothers are not going to be deliberately pushing sodomy and pornography on them. It's a deliberate depravity at this point. But let's cover some. But that's not to say that critical race theory, or like basically teaching kids to hate each other and teaching kids to hate whites, is not real. I'm not saying it's not real. Not. It is a real thing, and it's bad, but I just don't think it's just a distraction, dude. But let's cover it a little bit. Let's distract you a little bit. Attached is my resignation. So my name is Daniel Concannon. Attached is my resignation from Manchester School District in response to the white privilege training. I won't be pathologized for being white. I won't be pathologized for being normal. Neither should you. So Manchester, New Hampshire. Okay, interesting. Isn't Manchester, New Hampshire, where the Free State Project is? Am I right about that? Anyway, I hereby resign. What? Is this a joke? It says Human Wedgie McGee. This is a joke. Yeah, this is a troll right here. Because it says the Frankfurt School. Wait, I mean, I can't tell. Yeah, this is a joke. I just got played. Looks like we got to save it for the Daily Ignoramus. Because, I mean, I have 3 or 4 more other tabs on this stuff. Dang it. I got trolled. This is why you use news facts proved sources only. So let's just go through it either way. Tom McGee, I really can't tell because it says where's the equity as a trans feminine spectrosexual non-libidoist Subaru Forester Basset Hound hybrid with a mixtape of surgical errors for genitals. I am non-binarily outraged at Manchester School District's stunning failure at inclusivity for soft butch, stone butch, pan-romantic, gender-dormant, cupidosexual, trigender, polygender, demigender, and left-of-gender peoples. And I call for the resignation and immediate gender reassignment surgery of Superintendent Goldhart, Chief Equity Officer LMAO. And then below it says, so FU, it says, Tom, it's addressed to like a real-ish name, Tom McGee, but it says Human Wedgie McGee. Then below Daniel Concannon, it says like 100 different pronouns, dude. What a mess. All right. Okay, let's go to some real stuff. Another mic drop moment as this dad schools his kid's school board about critical race theory, indoctrinating kids to hate each other. Yes.
My name is Ian Rice. I've got 2 children here at the Caledonia School District. It's very apparent here by all of the parents that have spoken that this board and the school district is failing. More importantly, I came here to talk about critical race theory. This theory was never meant to be brought into grade schools, high schools, at all. It's actually taught in the collegiate atmosphere, and more importantly, the legal portion of the collegiate atmosphere, to see different laws through the lens of race. from an ethics and an ethical standpoint, right? Not for grade schools and high schoolers. The problem with bringing it to high school and grade school level.
This is this guy's the textbook example of, I don't think this is a racist statement at all, but the left kind of does. It's like, oh, you're very articulate.
Is that we don't have
what you say, mother?
Educators to properly teach these kids. Instead, they're using it as their own agenda to indoctrinate the kids to hate each other. And whether you believe that to be true or not, the reality is that's what's happening. Critical race theory is teaching that white people are bad. That's not true. That would teach my daughter that her mother is evil. You already have an educator within your staff that has pulled my daughter aside and said, well, you're a minority, so you know better than to engage in certain things.
Wow.
Whoa. When I was brought to the school's attention, nothing happened to the educator. Instead, my daughter was brought in, and she was ridiculed. So my question is now, with critical race theory being brought in, what is your criteria to educate the educators? And who are you to educate my children, or any of our children, in life issues? That's our job.
Yes.
Your job is to teach them math and science. Our job is to teach them about life. I believe racial issues and tensions across the U.S. are nowhere near what they used to be decades ago. Do we have a long way to go? Sure. Do we still have individuals out there that need to be taught? Absolutely. But I believe the people here don't look at me as a black man. They look at me as a man standing in front of you addressing the issue that we all are very passionate about.
That's right. Break yourself, fool. That was nice, though. Last one of the day. Let's just play the clip, and then we'll move on to what you, the fans, are saying. This is child abuse in our schools, rooted directly in the application of critical theories, including critical race theory.
This teacher had his class line up and participate in a privilege walk. He asked them a series of questions about their privilege status and has them step forward or back depending on the answer.
Step backwards. If you or your family.
Dude, this is one of these commie games right here. This is one of the, there's a few of them. This is one of them. One of the two biggest pieces of propaganda is this game where you step forward, step back. But these people are old at this point. These people like 15 or whatever, and they're not little babies. This is talking about how people are. There's a lot of free will that's gone on from, the ages 0 to 15, A lot of free will. So I can't stand this game. I've seen this game. I think we did this game back in the day. The other one I'm talking about is that drawing of the three people watching a game, and they're on crates, and one of them's taller, one of them's shorter. You guys have seen it. It's like equity versus equality. I've hatred in my heart for it.
Money or property, take a step forward.
Of course.
Dude, this shit makes me so mad.
Money or property, take a step forward. If you come from a supportive family environment, take a step.
What does that even mean, dude? This guy didn't.
Forward.
What does that even mean? I would not step forward for a single subjective statement. Yuck. Gotta call it quits, guys. My blood is boiling. Let's see what you, the fans, are saying, though. So on Fridays during Jay Edgar's stream, we check in with the chat. So let's see what's going on. All right, let's go back a little bit. We had some funny comments. Might be wrong said about the guy a second ago. This guy is known as a black shilly. Toko asked, political opinion on coleslaw. I would say that it's the second worst political act that the Germans ever did. That's what I would say. Quest says, Frankfurt School was a school of thought on how to shift Marxism from being based in economic class to race, gender, and other identitarian divisions. Yeah, I've heard that before. I know what the Frankfurt School is. I have some arguments with whether that's, whether it's Marxism in the first place. I mean, like, talking about oppression is not Marxist. I mean, that's been going on for years. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a smoke screen for what's anti-white hatred. But yeah, I mean, it's like it's too modern for me. People have been talking about the oppression stuff for hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't know how old the Frankfurt School is, but it's just one of these, I just love debunking libertarian talking points, and that's like one of them or whatever. No offense. My dad is reading a book about CRT written by folks who developed it. The real thing has a lot of bullshit in it, but it's also being expressed incorrectly by anti-white racists. And I've said before on stream as well, it can both be this Marxism thing and anti-white, but it's like I'm just anti-buzzwords. And I see a lot of people just talking about the Frankfurt School, and I don't know. I guess what my point is I'm sure it didn't start there. Let's see. Let's go in reverse order. If you don't have sickle cell anemia, step forward. Yep. Life to the Max says, if you woke up today and you were in a house, step forward. If there was food in the kitchen, step forward. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that game is dumb. All these commie games are so dumb. Now, I'm not going to read that one, given that we're on someone else's channel. But thank you, Nephilim Ninja. I appreciate that. Talk about it. Base Dad. Random said, had a Facebook friend share a post about somewhere where they allow kids to get IUDs without their parents' knowledge, and how that's led to less abortions. IUDs are not recommended, frowned upon for women and who haven't already had a child. Yeah, I mean, that's disgusting. I mean, yeah, this whole we didn't really talk about abortion today or whatever, but it's like the thing for, like, if you really want better families and less abortions, you like make abortion illegal and teach only abstinence in schools and teach about God as well. And I think a lot of the problems will support them, will fix themselves. The artist in the chat got a good crowd today. That's awesome. Make sure you guys subscribe to J. Edgar. If it isn't hammer and sickle cell anemia, I don't want it. Good stuff, guys. Some people have some thoughts on Afghanistan. No, that was not on 2 times speed with Joe Biden, but it should have been. The problem is kind of a double-edged sword with Joe Biden, because if you speed it up, he slurs a lot. So there's like, it's like, and you can't understand it. Pressure, all right? The Villigan Zoominac. If we invaded Transylvania, we would become the most trans military ever. True. Very true. Yeah, I think that something's going to happen with this Afghanistan thing. I mean, I just don't really care that much. I just want us to nation in our own way, not our own way, in the right way. Wow, a pleasure to host Contemporary. Thank you, J. Edgar, for the opportunity. I'm happy to do it anytime. It was a good time. It allowed me to get up earlier, which is good. Sometimes I struggle with sleeping in a little bit too much. I like getting up at 6 every day, but sometimes I'll sleep into like 8 when I do my show at 10. But thank you so much for the opportunity. Big shame on John for canceling today, but I understand. Just got to get some good-natured ribbing, guys. Sorry for not adding the chat to the side of the screen today. I think I just didn't copy and paste the link. So sorry about that, but you guys are great. Let's play the music and get on out of here. I am Steven Ignoramus in for J. Edgar. Have a fantastic day. I'm on my stream in about an hour. Might start like 5 minutes late. I don't know. Got to get my ish together, guys. Subscribe to Steven Ignoramus Media. You know where to find me. You can Google my name, but ignore the hit pieces that come up. It's all untrue. All untrue. You guys take care. Love you all. I'll see you when I see you. God bless.